So here's the question. As a real estate investor, how do you build a business that you're excited to show up to every day while you constantly grow your stream of passive income that you and your family can depend on for life without having to leave your computer or even live somewhere that houses are affordable? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. Welcome to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Brian Elwood.
What's up, guys? Brian Elwood here. Welcome back to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast. Hope everybody's having a productive week, getting a lot of work done this week. I know I am. I'm trying to get everything done before I fly to New Orleans this Friday for one of my best friend's bachelor parties. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to going to Cafe Du Monde for the coffee and the funnel cakes or whatever. I'm looking forward to all that really good Cajun food they have down there. Drinking some hurricanes and whatever else all those crazy drinks are, where they probably pour a giant pixie stick into every single one. So hopefully I make it back next week alive. If you don't hear a podcast from me next week, then you might want to check on me and see how I'm doing. Just kidding, guys. But anyways, I wanted to make a quick episode here because there's a topic that I've been discussing a lot with my coaching students and different customers and things I talk to. And I've realized there's a need to discuss this specific point, this difference between, doing flips or buying rentals. Which one's best for me? Should I do one or the other or both? What kind of outcome is each of those avenues going to lead to? Is it going to arrive me at my goals or not? So let's dive into this. If you are somebody who wants to quit your job and be a full-time real estate investor as soon as possible, then the fastest way to do that is through learning how to do flips. And flipping would include doing wholesale deals and doing fix and flip deals. It could even include new construction, but the most common ones are going to be wholesaling and rehabbing, right? So that is the fastest path to cash. You can make 20, 30, 40, 50 grand on a flip, whereas a rental maybe only make you $3,000 per year in total, right? So much easier to get a big check quickly and to put your 2 weeks notice in and be a full-time real estate investor. On the flip side, flipping is a much more active and involved business. You have to be focused on marketing. You have to generate leads or at least work very closely with all the wholesalers in your market. Most importantly, you've got to look at a lot of deals and make a lot of offers on all those deals. You got to find deep discounted deals. If you want to be a flipper, there's got to be some margin in there for you to make money. So you may need a sales guy, and all of that. And then once you buy the house, you're going to have to, manage the renovation. So you may need to hire a project manager, and then you sell it and rinse and repeat. So that's a bunch of work. And the flip side or the benefit is that you get the $30,000 chunk all at once. Whereas if one rental makes you $3,000 a year in passive income, you would actually need to buy 10 rentals to make you 30 grand, which is the same as you can make off of doing one single flip. So huge difference, right? I don't have to explain to you that it's harder to buy 10 rental properties than it is to do one flip for 30 grand profit, right? It's pretty obvious. On the flip side, the rentals are much, much more passive. So there's work in finding it. You have to do rehabs on some of them, but they're usually not as extensive of rehabs. It's like a rent ready rehab, as we call it, usually 7 to 10 grand, and it's ready to rent out. And then you just put a tenant in there and you just talk to your property manager every so often, or you can even have an office manager in between you and the property manager. And you just talk to that person, just look at your statements. It's very, very passive. And another important point is that a lot of the deals that are going to come across your desk when you start looking for deals in your market are going to work as rentals, whereas they would not work as a rehab because the area is just not hot enough yet or whatever. A lot of the outlying areas, you might live in a real competitive city like Vegas or Dallas or Phoenix or Nashville or something like that, and there's not really any good rental deals in the city. But in the outlying areas, there's tons of good rental deals, and there's strong, stable, blue-collar, working-class neighborhoods. There's, nothing wrong with them. But they just don't go up and down in value a lot. They call those linear markets, and they're great for rentals and tough to do flips in unless you're finding deep discounted deals out there. Because it's not those exciting, sexy, gentrifying areas where values are skyrocketing. It's not like that. It's not a cyclical area. But my overarching point there is just that rentals are easier to find than flips. It's easier to find a deal where the numbers will work from a cash flow perspective than it is to find a deal where you can just make 30 grand fixing and flipping it. The investors in your market are more likely to dive all over that flip than they are to dive onto a rental, because maybe like you, they also want 30 grand cash in their pocket versus a boring $3,000 a year in passive income. So I hope that sorts out in you guys' mind the difference a little bit between the two. Now, if you are just a passive income guy or gal, you're just like, I don't really want to do a flipping business. I just want to generate passive income. I want it to replace my income, and then I'll be financially free. Then just know that you don't have to start flipping in order to create passive income. Joe Fairless, the host of the Best Ever Real Estate Investing podcast, is famous for going from no rentals to buying a 150 unit building. And boom, he was probably financially free after that one purchase. He just kind of leapfrogged everyone because he had a different mindset about the whole thing. He didn't get into building a wholesaling or a flipping business. He just went straight to passive income. Most of the people I talk to on the phone who I'm, considering taking on as a coaching client, they'll tell me, yeah, Brian, I want to get into wholesaling or flipping, but my real long-term goal is actually passive income. And I always tell them, why don't you make passive income your short-term goal? Why does it have to be your long-term goal? And usually it's just an issue with their mindset. They don't believe that they're ready, or they don't think they need to have money or something like that. So know that if you're somebody who has a job or some other means of income and you want to just build a rental portfolio for passive income, then as long as you're not unhappy where you are, you can just stay where you are and take 3, 4, 5 years of focused effort to start building up your portfolio with the money that you can scrape off the top from your job or whatever it is. You could start a business doing something completely different. You could sell protein bars or go drive for Uber or something or whatever. And in the meantime, learn how to build your portfolio, pick a market to invest in, build your team there, like property manager, inspector, contractor, title company, private money lenders, wholesalers, realtors, all that stuff in that market, And, just learn the whole process of how to analyze a deal. You need to learn if you don't have a lot of cash, you can learn how to raise private money, how to do seller financing deals, how to get 5-year balloon loans from commercial banks, lots of ways around having to have tons of money to build a portfolio. So if you're telling yourself that that's what's holding you back, I promise you it's a lie that you're telling yourself. But my main point here is that, most of the people that I coach and work with, I notice that really ultimately their perfect lifestyle, doesn't necessarily involve flipping a bunch of houses. It really just involves like traveling and spending time with their family and working out and doing hobbies and, having a couple passion projects that they work on for work, but really not being tied to work that much and having the freedom to kind of like start each day as a blank slate and paint it how they want it. Right. So they're in a situation where they need to kind of bide their time until they can get enough passive income to do that. And so they say, well, crap, I guess I'll start a flipping business and that'll make me money. And then I'll use that money to buy rentals and then I'll be financially free. I think that the flipping business, if the only goal is rentals and passive income, then the flipping business may not be necessary. That's a decision you guys are going to have to make. Just know that flipping businesses are lots of work. You need a bunch of employees and, there's a lot of moving parts that goes on to that. And just know that it's also not necessary to buy rentals, and to create passive income. There's even an extra benefit of not doing the flipping business, which is all of your focus as a real estate investor is going to be on passive income. Every deal you look at, you're always just thinking, how can I hold this? How can I hold this? And that's what Matt Theriault teaches his students as well, is like every deal that comes along, the very first thing you should try to do is hold it, because most people want passive income and financial security over anything else, over the quick payday. So that's obviously me breezing through that really fast. I hope that was helpful for some of you guys to kind of see the difference between the two approaches. I know you know the difference between what a flip and buying a rental is, but this is me describing the difference in the outcome you're going to experience, whether you choose one or the other avenue, or both. There's a side benefit of doing both, is that if you have a machine where you're marketing and you have a sales guy and you're looking at lots of deals to do flips, you're going to get better deals more likely because you're going to put more energy into finding those deals and putting your own marketing dollars into it and stuff. So you're going to get better deals if you build that. And so you will be able to cherry pick the best deals out of the bunch to keep as your rentals, right? That could work better and have more cash flow and stuff like that. But you do pay a price for that in the form of marketing dollars and more time and more involvement and everything else. So, there's pros and cons to each one. I would just really ask yourself, what do I want? What's going to make me happy? What's my perfect day look like? The perfect day exercise I described in one of the first episodes I ever recorded. You can go back and listen to that. But that's where this whole thing starts. If you were to hire me as your coach, the very first thing we'd work on is hashing that out. What's the lifestyle that you're going after with this whole thing, right? Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Workweek talks about how your business is supposed to support your desired lifestyle, not the other way around, right? So you start with the lifestyle and then you build a business that very logically will lead you to that lifestyle. You should be able to sit there with your desired lifestyle on one piece of paper and the vision for your business on another piece of paper and read them both and say, you know what? These add up. If I build this business, it will give me this lifestyle. It's very clear that they're, they link to each other. If that doesn't add up, then you've got to keep working on this piece, because figuring out what you want in life and then figuring out the right business to build to give you that, those are the foundational exercises. In fact, I need to do a whole nother podcast on this because I'm about out of time, but that's where you start. And then that will inform you whether or not you need to flip, buy rentals, do both, do something completely different, or whatever. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Want more? Get your free copy of Brian's book that is changing real estate businesses everywhere. Just go to www.fireyourself.net. Also, register for your free virtual real estate investing online masterclass at virtualinvestingclass.com.